Welcome to 100 Yards of Football today. It's our college football team preview. We're going to preview the Mississippi State Bulldogs out of the SEC West. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. Joining me today is a very talented gentleman. He was a two-time All-American at Florida State University. He was a first-round selection in the 1981 draft, 25th pick overall. My man from Delray Beach, Florida, Mr. Bobby Butler. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it as we're going to break down that team down in Stockville, Mississippi, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So, Mr. Butler, what do you like about Mississippi State this season?
Okay, Vincent. Their head coach, Mr. Mike Leach.
He's a character.
But he's an offensive genius. This man is an offensive genius. He's a character. He's a different kind of a guy, but the guy's an offensive genius. But here's the thing I want to say real quick, and I will get to that later because we always cover offense first. He's an offensive genius, but he's never coached a team with this kind of defensive talent before. So that's a check mark for him, right? Here's the thing. His offense, they're going to play extremely fast. They're going to try to strike quick. They're going to operate with a quick tempo. That's how they're going to move the football, right? And so they got a quarterback, and Coach Leach is all about the quarterback. His whole offense is all about the quarterback, and he's got a good one in KJ Costello. And so he's the best offensive player that they have, right? And so he's a transfer from Stanford, but he's the guy to watch, and he's going to be an NFL prospect. Let's look at his size. He's a prototypical quarterback, Vince, in the NFL. He's 6'5", he's 222 pounds. Smart, can throw the deep ball, and he's got the ability to take his game to a whole nother level under Coach Mike Leach. So I believe that's going to be a great marriage between them because they both need each other, right? And so their running back, so the quarterback position is solidified. Their running back, Mr. Colin Hill, he's an NFL prospect. So they got somebody to tote the mail. I like to say tote the mail. That's how we call it in South Florida. Can you tote the mail? Right? They got a running back who can tote the mail. Their wide receivers, Osiris Mitchell, 6'5", 210 pounds. He's the number one guy. He can flat out go get the football. And he's got size, right? And so then you got Terrell Shavers. He's a transfer from Alabama. This guy has superstar potential. Now, when you go to Alabama and play wide receiver, there's about 20 dudes in the room that can play. So Tyrell said, I don't want to wait. I want to go somewhere where I can go to the field right now and play. Then they got a JUCO transfer in Malik Heath. Now, I believe Malik is gonna get him a spot in that role. He's gonna be in that rotation, maybe the third wide receiver, but he'll catch a lot of balls this year. He's got a lot of upside. Their offensive line has chemistry, right? They're good there. So here's the thing: this offense is gonna be a different offense in the SEC. It's gonna be a different offense, and so those big dogs at Alabama. Those big dogs at Auburn, up front, all those big dogs at LSU, I tell you right now, they better have a deep rotation playing against this offense because I'm telling you, their tongue's going to be dragging the ground with Mike Leach at the helm. So a lot of things can happen with this kind of offense. And on the defensive side of the ball, when we talk about Coach Leach has never had this kind of talent, right? From a defensive standpoint, well, he's got it. And so his D-line, they got an upside to be killers because they got so much young talent on the rise, right? D-ends, Marquise Spencer, Kobe Jones, and JUCO transfer Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is like a D-end outside linebacker type player. Hey, look, those guys got talent, and they can flat out play. But the D tackles, I love, Vincent. I like them big boys. I like them two techniques, man. I like those guys who can push those linemen back in the quarterback's lap. And so you got that in Fabian Lockett and Nathan Pickering. those guys going to push linemen back in the backfield. See, Coach Leach ain't never had guys like this before. All right. And then boy, Lemon Joy. This linebacker group, hey, listen, they got the surprise and a break when Errol Thompson decided to come back. Nobody expected him to come back because he was a legit first-round pick. He came back for another year, Vincent. And so they're happy to see him back leading that defense. And then you got Jordan Davis again, like I say, who's more outside linebacker. But that Errol Thompson is a thumper. Bruh, he bringing the wood on every play. And so then you add a secondary that has experience. You got two safeties back there, C.J. Morgan, who's a hard tackling safety, along with Marcus Murphy. And then you got young talent at the corners who got a lot of time last year. They're coming back with experience. I'm going to say this again, Vincent. Coach Leach has never had this kind of defensive talent. Now, everybody knows him as an offensive genius. We all know that. But he hasn't really won anything. Why? He's never had defensive talent. So I'm going to tell you right now, the SEC better look out, because let me tell you what can happen. I don't think they're going, 10-2 or 11-1. But here's the problem they present for the SEC West. They're going to pick off somebody. Listen, remember I said this. They're going to upset somebody and going to throw the whole thing out of shape. So I'm going to say this to the rest of the SEC who plays Mississippi State. Y'all better come with your A game, be ready to play, because if you don't, you're going to mess around and you're going to be asking yourself, why did this happen? I'm just telling you right now. So my final analysis, I really don't see them winning no more than 8 games, but I'm going to say they're going to win even 7 to 8 games. But just like I say, they dangerous. They dangerous. We don't know what Mike Leach is going to do with a defense like this, but we know what he can do on the offensive side of the ball. So I can't wait to see what happens. That's my final analysis with Mississippi State.
Well, Brother Butler, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about Mike Leach, matter of fact, you got that song I told you that reminds me of Mike Leach. Can you tune that up a little bit? Can you find that song? Okay, Brother Butler. Mike Leach has arrived in Starkville, a stairway to heaven. One thing when I look at Coach Leach, I'm trying to figure out how in the world did he get KJ Costello, who was a former second-team All-Pac-12 quarterback, to come to Starkville. So when I look at Coach Leach, he's got a quarterback that's probably been the best quarterback he's had in the last 10 years. Because in Washington State, he had quality players, but come on, man. These guys are not like the KJ Costello.
Right.
I think Mississippi State is very simple. Mike Leach is going to throw the football all over the place. And what's scary, he's going to be able to get athletes at the wide receiver position. Then he had it out there at Washington State and when he was at Texas Tech, because probably the best receivers he had at Texas Tech was Wes Welker and Michael Crabtree. But he's going to be able to get a dub for them in the next few years.
Right.
The young man, Malik Heath, is going to be a player. He was the number 5 JUCO at the wide receiver position. He's out of Jackson, Mississippi, and he's been waiting a long time to get down to play football at Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
They got a couple of offensive linemen. One that's a transfer that's coming in from Alabama. Another one that's coming in from LSU. They got a 5-star tackle offensively that they redshirted in Charlie Cross. Remember that name.
Mm-hmm.
And on the defensive side, you did talk about Mr. Thompson. You talked about Mr. Murphy. But you really only gave a little bit. Well, you gave a little bit love to Jordan Davis, but you forget the important part about Mr. Davis. He's from the 901, Tennessee, by way of Whitehaven, Tennessee, where my parents live. And he would have probably went to a major school 2 years ago, but he had a grades problem, so he had to go to JUCO in Mississippi, and he played on the same JUCO team as Mr. Heath. So he's going to be a player. The only thing I worry about when I look at Mississippi State now is how's Mike Leach going to be able to handle the line of scrimmage. Because, you know, the Southeastern Conference is all about the line of scrimmage. And defensively, this is probably Coach Leach's best defensive unit he's had in a long time. And Mississippi State over the last few years has been very strong on the defensive side of the ball. But now offensively, how's his offensive line is going to be able to protect Mr. Costello when he comes down, if there's a season? But this is going to be his best offensive line he's ever had in the last few years coaching.
Right.
And you are right about Coach Leach. Coach Leach, he is an offensive genius.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm Auburn, I'm Gus Malzahn, I'm a little bit worried.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Ed Orgeron, I'm a little bit worried.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely worried down at Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. Mm-hmm. And whoever has to play Mississippi State, I'm not saying they're going to go win the SEC West, but they are going to beat some teams they don't boast to beat, because that's what Mike Leach does.
Right.
And remember his coaching tree. Oklahoma, national championship, OC, Texas Tech, Cliff Kingsbury, who's the head coach of Arizona right now. Michael Crabtree came under him. He went out to Washington State. They was in the dumps. He turns around, and they winning out there. And let me get his name right. The young man that's the quarterback from Jacksonville, Mr. Minshew, he's earning money in Jacksonville.
Right.
All this came out of Mr. Mike Leach's tree. The guy can coach offensive football. There's no question about it. And he's got a lot of super offensive talent. You mentioned Mr. Hill is an NFL player. He's got a young man out of Atlanta, right down the street where we broadcasting there, out of Carver High School, Dequarius Marks, that had over 1,900 yards rushing. One of the top 5 backs in the state of Georgia.
Right.
All I can say is this. I'm not saying Mike Leach is going to come down there and win a national championship. And there's been some other people in the Atlanta media saying they see him failing down there. I don't understand where that's coming from, but I can tell you this. Mississippi State went 6-7 under Joe Moorhead. I thought Mr. Moorhead was a good coach. He should have got one more year. But I'm going to tell you, when you get a coach like this, a guy that's offensive minded, who know how to put athletes in a position, and you got them in a place now in the best conference in college football, and the athletes he going to be able to get, Mississippi State is going to be very, very serious to handle. And remember the name, Malik Heath, the number 5 JUCO wide receiver in the country. He's the one I think is going to have a huge year at Mississippi State. And KJ Costello, man, you come from David Shaw out of a run-based offense, and you coming down here, all I can say is I know he hoping that they have a football season because he can really show his skills. It's going to be special. They call Stockville, Mississippi. What, Stockville? It's going to be special down there. And I love Stockville, Mississippi, because my father has a lot of relatives down there. I have a lot of second and third cousins. And you know what? If there's a football season, I might be traveling down there to see them Bulldogs play. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. And to the Mississippi State fans, y'all have been very blessed. Because I thought a couple of years ago, I thought Mike Leach was going to be the head coach at the University of Tennessee, which I thought would have been an excellent fit. And like the brother Butler said, this is a guy, and I really believe this, he could go to any school in the SEC and they're going to be something serious to handle. He could have went to Vanderbilt, and we'd be talking about Vanderbilt in a whole different realm.
That's right.
If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We are 100 Yards of Football. And Mike Leach, stairway to heaven, baby, because it's going to be something serious in the SEC West. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you next time here on 100 Yards of Football.